Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, July 29th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick. And then we can get started with our session for this morning. So once we get all this stuff set up over here, we can get started with our analysis. Kai's thumping. You guys don't know Kai's my dog. Kai, go over there. All right, let me finish setting this up real quick and then we'll get started. Let's see, a couple more things right here to update. All right. A few more things here. And we should be good. All right, so let's go right here. I'm gonna get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right. There we go. All right, looks good. So I'll give it a few minutes for people to make their way in. And as people join, we'll get started with our analysis. So as people join the room, let's take a look at a couple things here. So let me just pull up the breakout requirements and then also the confluence checklist. So today we'll be looking at breakout. We'll also be looking at the 1 minute daily, and we'll also be looking at the 3 minute daily. So we got about 3 entries to look at today. So it looks like a couple of you guys are in the room now. So good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, July 29th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to get a few more minutes for people to join in, then we'll take a look at the bias for today. So let's see who's here so far. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, Steven. Morning, Marlon. Morning, Alexander. Morning, Bobby. Morning, Marco. Morning, Kevin. Morning, everybody. So yeah, let's wrap up this week strong. Me and Maddie had a meeting yesterday, and there's like another confluence that we were thinking about adding. I'm not sure if anyone still uses the K2 SR version 2. You know, I created these indicators for a reason, basically to assist you guys in identifying confluences. So the thing that I was showing Maddie yesterday is basically, you know, we already have our confluences here. There's another confluence that you can look at. This is kind of similar to like how, you know, Kevin trades and identifies price action. I know for a lot of people, it's hard to identify like the double tops and double bottoms. If you guys are having trouble with that, one tool that you can use would be the K2SR indicator right here. So you can kind of see right here where price rejects from. Like, so for example, when price is in a range right here, you can kind of just draw your zones around where these K2 SRs are, and you can identify where those double bounces happen. So if you guys want to use that, I mean, I went over this with Maddie yesterday. We had like a long meeting. He's using this as a confluence now, just basically when he's identifying entries. So he's identifying the entries for the variations or whatever else people want to look at. But using the K2SR over here, you can see where these double tops, double bottoms happen, right? Like a double bottom right here, triple bottom, etc. And you know how Kevin takes a lot of these scalps. This is hard for a lot of people to identify, but if you have the indicator here, it helps a lot. So if you want to use that, you know, feel free. We'll probably go over this later if you guys have any questions on it, but this will help you identify a lot of things here. Like for example, identifying double bottoms and identifying tops as well, like around this area. So, all right, guys, 6:25 right now. Market's gonna open shortly. I just wanted to run that through with you guys real quick before we start. Jason's asking how long until market opens. Market is going to open in 5 minutes, Jason. So let's start with our analysis for the breakout right now. So breakout's right here. Confluence checklist. So let's take a look at the bias. So for once, there is actually some sort of bias in the market. The retail sentiment is currently 62% short, indicating that 62% of retail traders are currently selling. So we want to do the opposite and buy. Looking over here at the fundamentals, it's weak right now. So we're going to go with the sentiment. So sentiment right now is currently bullish. I'm going to go ahead and put that down over here. Looking at the current trend, it's currently bearish. Reason for that's because price is below the pivots. The red pivot's over the green pivot. Trend meter's red. So we're going to put bearish right here. This can change though when the market opens. So we'll just put bearish for the moment, but this can easily, shift at any time. As notice, high-low continuation overlapping. Let's see. No, they're not overlapping for sells or for buys, but that can change when the market opens as well. High-low candle reversal, multiple time frames. Let's check the 10. That is not present either. Additional strategy confluence, there's a V3 on the bottom. So buy. Let's see. So for a buy, it's going to be yes. Nothing for a sell. Okay, so looking at this right here, couple of things line up. So looking over here at the breakout, we have current bullish momentum. So if we have a strong green candle on open, then this will indicate that that would be the breakout. If it's bullish, it looks like we could possibly take it. Let me see. Bullish. I mean, price can overlap, like the high-low continuation can develop as price moves. So it hasn't produced yet, so it's still no, but it can produce, within a given time. Additional strategy confluence going to be yes. You have a V3 right there. So let's see what we got. It's kind of iffy. It's like right down the middle. There's like 3 yes. Or there can be 2 or 3 yes, just depending on like how we're analyzing it. But we'll see what happens when the market here actually opens shortly. So, morning, Deswell. Morning, Matt. Morning, Fahad. Morning, everybody. There was news this morning. Let me check real quick. And there's news coming up at 6:45. So there's news at 5:30. It was positive. So 5:30, 6:45, and 7. 5:30, which was right there. 6:45. And 7. I'm also going to mark up London open, which was right there. All right, guys, market's going to open in less than a minute. So we currently still have the bullish momentum. So we're looking for a strong green candle after this candle closes. So we got about 10 seconds till market open. And keep in mind, today's Friday, guys, so you might want to be a bit more cautious with your entries. So All right, market is now open. We're looking for a strong green candle in order to take this breakout here. So we have a bullish momentum. We're looking for a strong green candle here. I want to make sure this candle isn't too huge, obviously. So let's see. This is not going to be the breakout here. If it closes as a strong green candle, then this would be the breakout. See how this candle here closes. There has to be little to no wick on the top side. I know it's getting close to news price, but for the breakout, I usually just blast right through it. We'll see how this candle here closes. Still too big of a wick on top. So no breakout right there off that candle. Still waiting. We need a strong green candle here to confirm it. So bias here is changing to neutral. So this can actually be a solid buy here if it does close. It's rejecting off news price. So if this candle here closes as a strong green candle, you can take it for a buy on the breakout. There can be a big wick on top though. It has to be little to no wick. So again, huge wick on the top right here. So no entry off the breakout just yet. Still waiting for it. 6:31 right now. We still got a lot of time. I'm going to go ahead and mark up opening price now, which is going to be right here. So if this closes as a sell breakout, I'm going to let it retrace a little bit, and I might just take it the opposite direction because most of the stuff here is still pointing towards a buy. So this breakout here might close as itself. If this closes as a strong red candle with the red sell signal, then this would technically be a sell for the breakout. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opposite for a buy. I'm not going to chase the sell here because I do think price is going to continue. It's just going to swing back up. Right. So I'm not going to take this. I think this would be a loser if we take this for the breakout. So I'm hoping this closes and I'll just take the opposite as price swings back up. So I want this to close. That's the breakout right there. Technically, I'm going to wait for it to swing up. If it swings back up, I'll take this for a buy instead. Let's see. See where it's at. Not any. I'm still thinking about it right now. So I'm waiting for it to swing back up. And then I will probably take it with a trailing stop because it's kind of risky when we take the opposite direction. Let's see, where's it at? Look at the MT4 price to see, because this price is kind of choppy and it's kind of laggy as well. Let's see where the price is currently at. Yeah, it looks like trading view is kind of moving a bit slower compared to MT4. So I'm following the MT4 candle. I'm just looking at the opening price right there and trying to see as it swings back up. So I'm not in it yet. Just watching it from here. All right, so now that price is below here, this gives me an opportunity to make a late entry for a buy. If it swings back up, I'm just going to wait for it there. I might even put a buy stop there and just let it catch it as it swings back up. So I'm not in the position yet, guys. I think this may retrace down a little bit and then it'll just swing back up eventually. Let's take a look at the bias right now. Bias is still at 62% short. So there's still a lot of retail traders on the sell side. It looks like it might it might just keep dropping it a little bit so that I can lure in some more sellers because there's a lot of retail traders here on the sell side, but I do think it's going to swing back up eventually. Now that we have a bias, we know which direction to be trading in. So there we go. As price starts to come back up. Let's see if mine filled. All right, so mine did fill in the position. Let me see if it moves my stop loss and profit right here. I have a trailing stop following it at 150 pips. Where's my position at? Man, is my MC4 freezing? I'm not sure if you guys MC4 is freezing. Mine's like frozen right now. It's weird. So I didn't fill my order. So I'm still not in it yet. I don't know what happened with MC4. How far did it push up? Unless it took me out of break even. 150. It might have got me in early and then pulled me out of break even. It's weird. Yeah, it doesn't show an active order on my MC4. Let me see, I'll just re-enter it as it comes back up. So I mean, my MT4 is not in it, but I was trying to get into it. Unless it entered me kind of early. I don't know if there's like slippage or spread in market or the pricing's just a little off, but I had it set to, I had a buy stop right there. And then when it pushed up, I don't know, MT4 kind of froze up for a second. That's weird. So for the daily entry right here, this wouldn't fit the requirements for the counter trend because typically you want this to be opposite, right? If you're looking for a sell, you want the trend meter here to be green. So for the daily on the 1 minute, that wouldn't apply. For the yeah, it wouldn't apply here on the 3 minute either. I don't know. Did anyone else have issues with the, or I don't even know if anyone's in the position with me or was trying to enter it, but I was trying to enter it here for a late entry. For some reason, my MT4 froze like halfway, like when it got close to it, or I don't know if it filled it really quick and then pulled me out at break even. Let me check my account history over here. That's weird. Well, whatever. I'm gonna have a buy stop right here, and my catch is it tries to swing back. Oh, Ross is already out. So Ross, it seems like Ross might have had the same issue too, where he got in and then just pulled him out real quick at break even. So I'm watching it. The trend is still bearish. Let me see if there's anything else. So there's news coming up too shortly. So that's going to be a bit of an issue here. So let me take a look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently neutral. There's nothing really going on here. Heat map. Heat map looks pretty flat right here. It's kind of mixed. Let's see. All right, so now I'm back in the position where I'm actually in the position this time. You know, I don't like the way prices move. I'm just going to close out. So I locked in about 900 off that trade. 985. I was going to hold on to it, but just the way that the market's moving right here, it's just moving kind of like choppy. Also, we have news coming up shortly. So if you guys are in the position, if you guys want to move your stop loss and profit, you can. I just pulled out. It's just there's news coming up really soon, and I don't want to get caught in manipulation right here as price gets near it. So if you guys got in late with me, or it doesn't matter if you guys got in late or early, you should still be in profit if you got in at proper entry point. It's still pushing up a little bit right here, but I manually closed out. It filled my order, and then it's just too close to news. Let's see how far is it. It's 6:39 right now. News is going to come up at 6:45. So in about like 5 minutes, there's going to be news coming up. You don't want to get caught in like spikes in price. I think it's medium impact or high impact. So it's low impact, but it's Chicago PMI. So it should be orange. But this here is going to affect the market. News is coming up too shortly. And also medium impact over here at 7 o'clock for revised UOM. So I'm out of the position already. If you guys want to hold on to it, you guys are more than welcome. Just understand the risk holding on to a position like this as we get near news. You know, the breakouts this week have been like all over the place. Typically they come up like at the very first, couple minutes, and then it hits within the first couple minutes as well. Typically, you want to hold on to it for too long. This breakout is currently running for about 8 or 9 minutes now. So it's been running for a bit longer than we typically hold it for. It's usually like 5 minutes or less where it hits. And you can see here, it's still pushing in profit, but I just don't want to risk it because we're getting close to news. So here's a breakout. It's still currently running. I'll post my profits right now to show you guys. I want to be completely transparent with you guys. This is basically the only trade I'm taking. This, probably the daily if it comes up on the 1 minute, and then maybe the daily on the 3. But yeah, this week's been kind of choppy. The thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that there was earnings released this week pretty much every day, and there's a lot of things. There was earnings this week. 2, today's Friday, and 3, this is the end of the month. So this is the last trading day of July. Typically, a lot of option contracts are expiring today. So there's a lot of risk in the market. So I pulled out at about 1,000 profit, which I'm okay with. And this is probably gonna hit CP here. So Steven, I'm not sure if you're still in this. Are you still in the position, Steven? So I'll just put the nice. So Steven said he recovered all of his losses. He's done for the day. Nice work, Steven. So Steven has a profit goal of 500 a day. He already locked it in. So you should be good. And I got you a little thing coming over here to see if this hits TV. Keep watching it and we'll see where it's at. Yeah, nice work, Steven. I'm gonna take a screenshot of my profits as well. Let's see what I did. I probably could have held on a little longer. If I held on a little longer, I probably would have made more profit. Let me see. Because my trailing stop was at 150, but I was just kind of tripped out how the market was moving earlier. I didn't fill my order the first time, which is weird. Price was way in profit and it didn't fill it. So that's why, you just got to go with your instinct sometimes. But if I held on to it a little longer, it looks like I probably would have locked in more because price actually pushed up to here. So the profit I would have locked in would have been around the same, or no, it would have been a little more because I only locked in about 1,000. I would have locked in 1,500 here if I held on to it 250 pips where the stop loss just trailed it. Yeah, not too bad. I locked in like 985 off my FTMOs, 940 off my MFFs. All right, so news is coming up shortly right here. I'm gonna take a screenshot of my profits real quick. And if you guys want to share your profits as well, feel free. But I do recommend moving your stop loss in profit because the news is coming up in 2 minutes, guys. If price spikes down, you want to at least protect your position. You want to at least guarantee some profit and no losses off this breakout because this breakouts have been running for a while. All right, anyways, let me take a screenshot of what I locked in. If you guys are in the position, that's great. If you guys are still in it, just make sure to be smart about it. Don't get greedy. All right, let's see where it goes. Man, this thing is still bouncing around. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but like this is how the breakout's been moving for like the past couple of weeks now. And it's crazy because the breakout's only 500 pips. So you'd expect like at least 500 pip move on open, but it just hasn't happened. Like these trades will be running for like 10, 15, 30 minutes. And you're like, damn, this breakout's supposed to be a breakout, right? It's not supposed to be a range. And there just hasn't been very much direction, but you'll see like when price gets around this point, another reason why I think price will continue to push up is because it's probably going to test the London Open up here. So there's just a lot of confluences pointing towards the top side. Looking over here, also, as I mentioned before, remember how I said you guys can use the K2SR to identify rejection points? There was a double bottom right here. One right there. And one right there. If you guys have problems identifying double bottoms and double tops, just turn on the K2SR version 2 indicator. Go ahead and draw your bottom right there or your support, and then turn off the indicator. And you can see there's a lot of confluences here indicating a push to the upside. Double bottom. Bias is bullish for overall retail sentiment. Trend was neutral. It's starting to shift to the upside. There we go. As it pushes up, almost there. And it's on the news candle too. And there you go, full TP. You go, Steven, with your horns. So, all right, guys. So the breakout this week was actually not that bad. We had 3 wins and 1 loss. So as you guys can see, I was trying to show you guys that if you guys just take 1 trade a day, breakout, and if you guys held on to it, you guys would have been perfectly fine. So if you just took the breakout this week and you held on to it pretty much to full TP, which was a little riskier this week than usual, you would have had 3 wins and 1 loss. So if you took 2% per trade, you'd have 3 wins, which is 6%, 1 loss, negative 2%, total profit of 4% for the week. So if you guys were doing an FTMO challenge and you just let the trade run, then you would be almost halfway to your goal of passing within the first week. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm trying to show you guys that like what's possible if you guys just take 1 trade a day and use proper risk. For me, when you're funded, it's different because you're more focused on locking in profits rather than letting the trade run, because you don't want to take over unnecessary risk. But when you're taking a challenge, it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're not losing anything aside from your challenge fee. So you can take risk and you can let the trades run. But when the market's like this, typically I want to be a bit safer than when the market's moving directional. So great move, guys, for whoever caught it. If you guys want me to cover this or go over in detail why we took the trade, just let me know and I can go over it again. But let me just take a screenshot over here of the trade so that you guys know to pull out. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So let me see this, take this off. So Maddie, if you remember, we talked about yesterday, this is the perfect setup right here for a buy. I should have just held it, but there was news. So if you remember, Maddie, this is the high-low candle reversal below with the green candle, rejected off the K2SR, double bottom, and then late entry right here for this. So it played out perfect. So this is a really good confluence that you guys can use. Anyways, let me give a little update here, and then I'm also going to post up my profits too. So there we go, guys. So just going over, and let me just post up my profits real quick, and I'll show you guys the stats for this breakout. What I'm trying to show you guys here is discipline, right? It's not taking like 100 trades a day, taking 10 trades a day. It's really just taking 1 trade with proper risk and pretty much making your gains from there. So I'll show you my profits here. I only take partial profits. I could have made a lot more. I was supposed to make 5,000 off this trade. I only made 1,000, but it was like across 5 accounts. So, it technically pushed up to that point. So here's my FTMO, my main account. I locked in 985, my second FTMO 985 as well. My MFF over here 940, my second MFF 940, and then my third MFF 940. When you have like multiple accounts, you can do this and take partials because you're basically locking in. You're being a little bit more safer. But this here pretty much, if it was like 5,000, this would be like times 5. So I technically made like a partial percentage gain across my accounts. So let me just put a little update here. I'll put partial profit. I just want to be completely transparent with you guys with like which profits I'm locking in, if I'm holding, if I'm taking partial, if I'm taking full moves. So quick partial profit off that KT US30 breakout. I pulled early due to upcoming news. Just so that you guys are aware, because I want you guys to have this data here. So whenever you guys go and test this, you guys can go back and just see what I posted or what's happened, like how long I held on to the trade, so that you guys can understand like if it was a risky trade or not. Obviously today there's a lot of red flags. It's Friday. It's the end of the month. It's at the end of the week. It's there's just a lot of things to keep in mind. It's earnings week as well. So as you guys continue to sit in on these live sessions, you guys will understand, what makes a trade risky, what makes a trade safe. This trade technically would have been safe if there wasn't all that stuff going on. Like if there was no news coming up. And if today wasn't Friday or the end of the month, you're going to see some crazy movements towards the end of the market, though, like towards market close. You're going to see a lot of people closing positions out. So you might see some drops, or you're going to see a lot of people buying dips, trying to push price in a certain direction. So let me scroll up real quick and see who posted profits. So we have Scotty over here. He took a sell over here, locked in a total profit of 1,090. Nice work, Scotty. Looks like Scotty took the actual breakout, but then he trailed it. So the actual breakout here was for a sell. He trailed it and then he pulled out. I took the opposite because the biases align the other way. So you can do both ways. I mean, you can take the breakout for the sell, and then you can also pull out early if you wanted to. You could even double dipped into it. Looks like Ross over here might have double dipped into it. No, he didn't. Ross did the smart move and he waited for it. So Ross over here took the buy. You can see his trades came in at 633, 638, and 639. He took some buys. He basically just like triple dipped into it. It looks like you did what I was trying to do, Ross. You basically entered, and then you just kept re-entering as price pulled you out in profit. So great work right here, Ross. Total profit of 5,850 for the day. Glad to see that. My profits over here, of course. Talking about 5,000 total across my accounts. Seth over here as well. So Seth over here locked in. He took the breakout here as well. Looks like he just took it and held on to it. So Seth took the breakout here, locked in 3,000 off the first one. He made another entry right here at 638, locked in a total of 390. So total profit of 8,915. Nice work, Seth. And then he traded also, it looks like last night during Asia session. So solid work in locking in those profits, Seth. Scrolling down a little further, if there's anything else here. Nothing else. Maddie over here as well. Maddie locked in a total profit of 5,090. Damn. So Maddie held on to the trade full TP. Damn. Man, when Maddie, he identified all of those confluences there, he actually held on to it. I should have held on to it too, but me being the safe trader, I pulled out early. So I only locked in like a portion of this, but Maddie actually held it to full TP. Entered at 633, just let it run a full TP, green strip right here, 5,000 in profit. So that should have been me, but it's all good. I'm glad Maddie did it. And this is the only way we're going to get better at trusting these strategies, right? Let me and Maddie be the example. I'm more on the conservative side. Maddie's more on the letting the trade run side. So Maddie over here letting it run, you can see that, he has full trade psychology. He identified all these confluences here. The low with the green candle, the double bottom, the rejection off the SR, and continuation back to the upside. So great job, Maddie. I didn't realize you held it to the full TP, so I'm glad you locked that in. Rashida over here as well. She took the breakout. She took a whole bunch of breakouts right here. She hopped in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like this might have been an accident 6 times right here. And so the breakout still locked in a pretty good profit. Locked in a total profit of 1,500 or 1,155. So great work right there, Rashida. She trusted the move too, so she kept dipping into it. Charles over here as well. Charles took the breakout. He trusted it a bit too, let it hit his TP. Total profit of 5,220. And as you guys can see, these are all different people. It's not just like one person profiting off this breakout. Steven over here as well. Steven, how many accounts did you trade today? Looks like Steven took he got excited and opened like 3 accounts. So Steven over here, he has 1 account locked in 635. Nice work, Steven. And then he opened a second account. Looks like he locked in 1,467. Steven just got a rush of confidence. And then this one over here, 1,467. Nice work, Steven. Not sure if you're using a copier. I'm assuming you're not, because you have like 3 different profits here. Looks like you're taking one trade, and then you're like, okay, when it re-enters on the other one, you take it on a second account, and then the same on a third account. It's all good though. I'm glad to see that you're bouncing back from that, Steven. So great work right there. Other than that, I think that's it for the breakout. Let me check if there's anything else here that I need to cover. That's it for right now. So let's take a look at the daily over here. The daily would have been the sell signal. It wouldn't have met because we were doing the counter trend of it. So, or actually, no, for this daily here, it would have been the same thing. It would have been a buy. So the daily and the breakout would have been the same entry. The daily here was with the direction of trend, but we would have taken the opposite. So this entry right here would have been for the daily and for the breakout, same exact candle. The reason why we do the opposite is because the confluence is here indicated for a buy. It was bullish, trend was neutral, but it was switching. So that was going to be for a buy as well. There's no high-low continuation. No, actually there was this here. So there's more confluences here for a buy. So we wouldn't even have taken the sell if it came up. There's about 4 confluences here for a buy, 4 or 3. Going over to the 3-minute, there's still no daily here. But in order for the daily to come up, because the next signal is going to be a sell, we need the trend meter here to be green, because we do the counter trend trade for John's way of applying it. So, and we also have news coming in 4 minutes. Thanks, Peter, for the heads up. Let me go and clean this up a little bit. All right, now that we have all this marked up here, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw the high lows throughout the chart so that we have market structure to look at. Let me check the chat actually to see if I missed anything. If you guys have any questions or want me to cover anything specific before I go into analysis of US30, just put your questions in the chat and then I will cover whatever questions you guys have. So let me go scroll up real quick. All right, I just saw Kevin's message. Nice, looks like he locked in some profit off that. Mace is asking, what are your trend meter settings on the 1-minute chart, please? Apologies if not appropriate to ask on session. No, it's fine, Mace, you're fine. Basically, for all of the time frames, I have them all set to chart. So you go over here to the trend meter, you go to settings. Default settings is going to give you the intraday settings. So this is going to give you the trend for like the entire day and the next couple of days. So this is going to be for the overall trend. If you want to just scalp, just set them all to chart. So you just go to chart, and this is going to give you the trend for the 1 minute because you're on the 1-minute chart. So you hit that, and it'll give you the 1-minute trend right there. I'm scrolling down a little further. Seth is asking, what do you look for when it breaks down and you're waiting for the swing up? What kind of confirmation setups are you looking for? Earlier, let me see if I could go back to that. And I kind of screwed up. I know, Seth, you asked this question earlier, and I should have. All right, so one of the confirmations I was looking for was basically that double bottom. I turn on the K2SR indicator right here. And you can see that this will identify all of the rejection points on the chart. These zones only come up if the that zone has been tested at least 2 or 3 times. So you can see right here that there was an area for basically a triple bottom. So looking for that swing back to the upside, this is what I would be looking for. Right there, and right there. Basically 3 rejections off that point, and the late entry would have happened right here off the following candle. So basically a triple bottom. The following candle was right here, and that's where the entry would have been taken, right off this candle. So that's one of the things that you can look at. Another thing that you can look at is basically when you're looking at these high lows, if you see a rejection off it, and then you also see that the low is a green candle. So basically, if the low is a green candle, it's gonna reject off it. It's like an extra confirmation. It's just showing that price is over exhausted, pushing down, and it's ready to bounce back up. So this low right here was with the green candle, and then it pushed all the way back up. If you look over here, it's the same thing in the opposite direction. You can see this high over here was a red candle. It was over exhausted for this push to the upside. So you see this high using the K2 high low indicator, it's a red candle, right? And then it pushes down. If you go back and you look at like previous data, just look at whenever price pushes in a direction, look how price is pushing down right here, right? And then look at the low candle right here. What's the low candle? It's a green candle, right? It pushes to the upside. That's one confluence. It doesn't happen every time, but when it does happen, it's usually a good indicator that price is going to bounce. So again, right here, you can see price is bouncing below, or it's pushing below. The low here is a green candle. Low here is a green candle. low here is a green candle, right? This is the actual low because price kind of consolidated and this is the actual low. And you can see how it's a green candle and it pushes up. So that's a confluence that I use there. To basically double up on that confluence, use the K2SR indicator to identify structure. So again, right here, it's the same thing that we identified earlier. If you can identify structure like this right here, right? And you don't have to know what you're doing. You just turn on the K2SR. It identifies structure for you. So we would have identified structure right there. And you can see that the low is a green candle. You have those, like basically you put 2 and 2 together. You identify basically the low of the low, like this is the lowest part because price is rejecting off it. And then you have this other confirmation here, low with the green candle. Odds are this thing's going to bounce up. And that's basically what we identified over here. I didn't identify it until later, but Maddie identified it mid-trade, and that's why he took it for the full move and he just held on to it. So that's crazy. Me and Maddie literally just went over this last night, and then now he's now he's applying it to the trades, and it works out perfect for him. So that's what you would be using. But there's a lot of different confluences. Me and Maddie should have recorded that session yesterday. It was a private session. It was just me and Maddie hanging out, but we went over a lot of stuff. Basically, we went over that you can use every K2 indicator for a confluence. I made all these indicators for a reason. They're not just random indicators. They're meant for application. So whenever you have an entry, you can use literally every single K2 indicator, and then you can use that to set a confluence for whatever trade that you're taking. Yeah, no, definitely. Maddie said it feels good to see it live and apply. Yeah, no, 100%. So, all right, Seth. Sorry, I was late with that response, but got that for you there. And you could use it because these are reversal patterns. So if you see that, if you see price going against your trade, just look for that reversal pattern, and then you can catch it for a lead entry, or you can be confident that your trade is actually going to go in your direction. So let me scroll down further and see if I missed anything else. Kenny says he's going to wait until Monday morning. Yeah, I would do that, Kenny, for sure. And you guys can see right here that price is super bullish, right? We already knew this was going to happen, right? Why did we know this was going to happen? Was because retail sentiment here was finally had a bias. It was 62% short. So this is why I always use retail sentiment first, right? I don't really care too much about fundamentals because this can shift easily, but this over here doesn't shift very often. Once this goes to like 60 to 65%, I'm for sure trading the opposite way. This was 62% in the morning. So what do you think was happening over here? People who don't look at retail sentiment, they saw price dropping right here, right? And what happens when price drops like this? People chase it. They just bandwagon onto these sells. We already knew price was going to push up. That's why for the breakout, I was like, okay, whatever, price is coming down. It's going to swing back up eventually. And you can see where price went from there because we already knew where the bias was. Bias was bullish from the very beginning. So that's why I wasn't looking at taking these sells. I was looking to take buys here. So if you guys followed my analysis from like on open, you guys have already known this was going to happen and you wouldn't have taken any sells here to begin with. So hopefully you guys took that advice to like, to use, and you guys actually skipped any sells, because if you guys took sells here and you guys are still in it, you mean some massive drawdown right now. Yeah, about 1,500 pips. So let me scroll down a little bit. Oh, I just saw your message right now, Maddie. Yeah, I missed it. So I saw your message at 6:41. You said bounce off SR. If I saw that, I probably would have held on to it, but it's all good. Other than that, David said, I feel the breakouts will be back to normal after summer vacation month. Yeah, no, and I agree too, David. This is just summer conditions, right? Market's kind of choppy and slow because of market conditions. But once the summer ends, so this is like the best time to practice because the market's kind of slow. And if you get scared of a trade, you can pull out before it goes too deep into drawdown. But once like we hit September, that's where like the real movements happen and you guys will be ready. Like once you build your trade psychology and you guys are confident in the strategy, you guys can just let them run. So this is probably the best time for you guys to get used to it. If you guys have the K2 indicators, you guys can practice it on your own time. You could like, if you guys want to practice this on your own time, just go back to whatever day. Like for example, today's the 29th. Just go and rewind to like the 28th if you want to practice yesterday's breakout. That's what me and Maddie do all the time. And that's how we create these strategies and we're able to apply it without thinking too much. So if you want to go back to yesterday, just go to the 28th right here. You go to 6:30, you go to replay, and then you practice the breakout from there. If it loads, yeah. So you go back to yesterday right here, July 28th, 6:30 a.m. And then you just practice the breakout there. Use all the confluences, know what to look for, so that when the real trade comes, you'll be 100% ready for it. So, all right, other than that, scroll down a little bit. Pat said, feels like the breakouts this week have been aligning more with the K2 signal that comes up after market open. And I agree too, Patrick, 100%. And that's why we've been applying the reversal strategy, or not the reversal, but the counter trend entry for the daily. So basically after 6:30, if we have a counter trend trade, we would take it. So like, for example, here, if this was, if this sell signal came up and this right here was green, we would have taken the buy if that was present. Ross said my sessions are in a different place. Ross, are you on a different time frame? My sessions were actually off, so I don't think you realize that these lines here weren't the sessions. My sessions were actually off this whole time. So now that they're on, they might be in the same place as you if you're on the same time frame. The pink line here is news price. The blue lines are London open and New York open right here. Let's see. Ross is asking, what are those numbers on the high-low indicator? That's just the pivots. It's the built-in indicator. If you look up pivots high-low, it's like the built-in trading view indicator. You don't need that on. It's just another confirmation for me. Like if I ever have these lined up with the high-low, it's typically going to be, it's typically going to improve the validity of the high-low. So like, for example, right here, you can see the high here with the number, and price does drop pretty heavy. You see the low over here with the number, price continues to push up. I look for the most confluences, like as many confluences as I can find. If it improves the strategy or improves my confidence in the trade, then I'll just leave it on there. It's not necessarily required, but it does help with just an extra confluence using one of the built-in indicators. So you can go to indicators here, just type in pivots or pivot points. It's the built-in indicator, or just type in pivots high or pivots H, and it'll be right here, the built-in indicator for trading view. It's their indicator that identifies high lows. I mean, I think it's pretty accurate, but it just doesn't come up as often. So use that there. I'm scrolling down to see what else is here. Ross said, how does it do it? Sometimes it's not. Yeah, no, definitely. So if you turn it on right there, Ross, that should help you identify a little better. Maddie said, Sean, the candle closed above the K2SR. Momentum is green. Got the green candle closing. Which one was it? $705. Oh, this one right here. I think this is what we were looking at yesterday too, Maddie. There was the when price is overextended. I think it's definitely overextended right now. So I probably would chill out on that, but because this is what we talked about yesterday too. Remember, we're trying to identify when to stop taking these breaks and closes past it, because this is just way too overextended. The way to identify if price is too overextended, just go to the lowest, like the lowest part, and then identify how far it pushed up. So if you were to measure this right here, basically from this low up to this point, it's like up like over almost 2,000 pips. So it's due for some retracement here. If it swings back up a second time, Maddie, then that might be one that you could take, right? Because it's going to retrace a little bit, and then once it's done retracing, it'll confirm back to the upside, just a continuation. So that's something you can possibly look for. Another thing you can look for here as well is there's another zone right here. I feel like a lot of people forgot about this indicator, but it's super useful if you're looking for rejections. Like if you like to apply the variations, this indicator here will help you identify where the rejections are happening. Like if you have a V3 and it's bouncing off a zone, like for example, down here, there's another, like that same trade that we looked at earlier down here, right? Because a question that I get a lot is like people are always asking me like, when do you know a V3 is really good? Or how do you know that it's actually going to play out perfectly? This one right here would have been a perfect, actually not a V3, a V1. There was a double body rejection. It was also a triple bottom right here off this structure. And the low was a green candle. So you have three confluences there indicating a reversal. And if you took the V1 right here, obviously would have hit full TP. So if you're looking to take the buy here, anybody, and this is just from my analysis, you could look at a couple of things here. You want to look at the rejection off the structure here. It's basically a break and retest. You see how price broke above here? Now it's coming down for the retest. So that's one confluence if it closes properly. If you have a variation here, that's going to be your catalyst to make the entry. There's a pending buy signal as well. Also, if this low here is a green candle, that's three confluences. So you got three confluences for, oh, it didn't close as a green candle. If this closes as a green candle, you'd have three confluences of a reversal or a correction. So basically price came up, came back down, break and retest. It's also considered breaking off structure, bouncing off structure. And then if this was a strong green, not a strong green candle, but a green candle in general, this would fit the requirements for the high-low reversal. So there's a lot of things here to look at. You can trade however you like. For me, I'm very conservative, so I like to confirm like as many confluences as possible before I take any entries, because I don't like losing trades. You guys know that. I like having a high win rate, and I don't like taking trades that are just like kind of iffy. Like unless it's like a for sure win, I'm probably not going to take it. Like today, I thought this was going to be a for sure win, but the news kind of just threw me off a little bit, so that's why I pulled out. But it played out pretty nice. But yeah, this would be structure right here. A couple of things you can look out for here, Maddie. You can look for the double bottom because it looks like price is coming for another retest. So you can look for the double bottom here, and then there's going to be a couple different opportunities to make an entry. You can make an entry if there's a V3 here because that's going to be your catalyst to enter, or you can wait for price to swing above with a buy signal and then take the high low from there, or not necessarily high low, but the K2SR zone entry. Yeah, Maddie said, damn, sell signal closed below and it went straight to the next zone. Yeah, so if you guys have been part of K2 for a while, you guys remember that this was a strategy that I used to apply for forex. When I used to call signals before, this was the only strategy I would apply. I would apply the K2SR on the 4-hour time frame. Now I was kind of playing around with it here. I was showing Maddie how I applied it, and it works for other time frames too. Like Maddie just mentioned, price broke below. It's basically zone to zone trading. So you have the zones already drawn up using the K2SR indicator, and you already know where price is going. Like price broke the zone right here, and then it goes up to the next zone. Price broke the zone right here, and then it comes down to the zone as well. It's just zone to zone trading. If you guys have trouble drawing zones, just use the K2SR indicator. It'll draw zones for you. So let's see. Yeah, no, Ross said when the numbers here print, the moves happen. Yeah, and you can use that for another confluence, Ross. So like, for example, right here, we have, well, you can just basically wait for this, let me just turn off the high-low. You can wait for that number to print somewhere over here, because when it prints on one of these over here, it's going to confirm that it's probably going to bounce back up. That's probably be your catalyst to identify. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind. If I see it come up, then that could be pretty useful, because you can see here whenever it lines up with the lows. So we have the high here with the number and it pushes. We got the high here with the number and it pushes. We got the low here with the number and it pushes, right? Low here with the number, pushes. So that might be an even better confluence for you guys to use as well. Because yeah, you're right, Ross. There's like maybe one right here where it didn't actually push too far. It was just ranging. But all of these other ones here, number, low, push, number, low, push, number, high, push. That's cool. I didn't really notice that until you mentioned it, Ross. So thanks for the heads up. And that's what's good about this community, guys. Like whenever someone finds something, you know, and I try to remind you guys this every day, whenever you guys see something and it's something that like looks like it works or it's interesting as an extra confluence, you know, just drop it in the chat. Other people can help you test it and we can use that to our advantage because it does work pretty well. So now that we're looking for a continuation back up, that's probably something that we could look for. So let me just turn this off right here. You can see that price broke below. So now that price broke below, it's no longer going to be identified as, you know, a double or triple bottom. What you can look for here is a rejection off one of these structures, either the sessions or news price. And then if it has a low with a number, like how Ross was saying, it's probably going to swing back up. Or even better, a number with a low and a green candle. So those are the three confluences that you're looking for. You're looking for something like this, a low with the pivots high-low number plus a green candle. You get all those right there, it's probably going to push back up. And then if you have an entry like a V3, V1, V2, I mean, anything really, that will help you identify as well. Rashida is asking, how do we get the numbers on high-low? So Rashida, go over here to indicators, type in pivots H, or yeah, pivots H, and it's going to be under here under technicals. This is a built-in indicator for TradingView. So this is already built into the platform. It's not a custom indicator at all. It's just one that TradingView provides. So you click on that and then the numbers will come up on your chart. And then you can use that as an extra confluence. It's not required, but it is, I mean, I think it's useful. So let's see where this candle goes. Maybe it'll come down and bounce off the sessions right here. Let's take a look at sentiment to see if it's still above 60%. Yeah, no problem, Rashida. Yeah, it's currently 62% right now. So we're still looking for buys here overall. Price is retracing. We just need to confirm that bounce back up. Once we can confirm it, it's going to be a continuation. Or if it doesn't bounce back up, then it might correct back down to opening price down here. So just keep in mind, this blue line is opening price. This other blue line is London open. So a lot of areas of rejection here. Ross said, I'm messing with it and testing it. Nice, Ross. Yeah, if you find anything good, just let us know, Ross. I think it'll be beneficial for all of us here. For you especially, you'll be able to identify these sniper entries. And that's basically what it is, guys. If you guys can see this here, like these would be considered like sniper entries, right? This high over here with the number, and it came down right after. So now basically you're looking for the opposite. You're looking for a low with the number, and that would be considered your sniper entry. And a lot of these times you guys can even enter them kind of late. Like one thing that I was showing Maddie yesterday was like basically if you so you guys can see right here, there's a high with the number right there, and it's followed by a sell signal. You could, instead of entering like right there, you could have entered down here and it still would have hit your TP. So same with this right here. If you don't get in right away, or even this one right here, if you don't get in right away when that high gets established, you can get in when the momentum actually comes. It's just these confluences complement each other. So you have the rejection right here, you identify the rejection. The momentum is like your last confirmation. It's like, okay, you already have the rejection reversal pattern right here. You have a high with the number. It's not a red candle, but that would have been even better. And it's followed by momentum. So once you have these lined up here, you're like, okay, price is going to have to push at least 100 pips. If you're scalping on the 1 minute, you can go for 100 pips. If you want to go for something bigger, I typically use a fixed 300 TP stop loss, like for the V3s. Still no setup here, but it is rejecting off the sessions right there. Yeah, Charles said 3-minute daily, but it's a sell. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, so I'm not going to take this trade here. I'll follow it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I don't want to take this trade. I think the main thing is going to be the bias, because the bias is so bullish right now that I don't want to take anything against it. But here, this is what we'll do. We'll just follow it. And then if price comes down below, maybe we can make a late entry. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this to close with the sell signal. let it push up a little bit, and then if it comes back down, make a late entry, right? So let me see this real quick. Yeah, because it's just we're looking for buys here, so I don't really want to look for any sells. But if it looks good and it comes up and it comes back down, then maybe give it a shot. Yeah, it'd be a counter trend, John. Exactly. And I'd be more comfortable taking the counter trend because I do trust your your data. If you guys were in the room yesterday, you guys saw that John shared his spreadsheet with us. So thanks, John, for that. He basically showed us the breakdown right here. Basically, counter trend trades have such a high win rate, about like 74%, if not higher. So, I mean, it's worth taking if it comes up, but it just hasn't come up just yet. Man, now that you mentioned that about the highs with the pivot high lows, Ross, it does, like, it's a really good confirmation. So I'm like looking right here, there's a low with the number there, and I never really looked at it that way, but it actually works really well because now you can kind of identify where the reversals happen. There's a low there with the number. It's a green candle, like huge push to the upside. Again, with this right here, this is like maybe less confluences, but it still pushes down pretty heavy. I'll just leave it on now because it does help. So again, right here, low, green candle, pivots high low number on there. If you don't want to enter right on that bottom, you could enter on the momentum right here, and you could have just wrote it up. So this is what I mean about the K2 indicators being confluences that complement each other. So we have the low here using the K2 high low. We have the pivots points high low right here, confirming that as well. We have the trend meter here indicating that the trend was bullish. We have the trend, the K2 pivots over here indicating is bullish. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confluences right here, right? If you were to see this entry here, you'd be pretty convinced that price was going to push up. So you would have taken this for a buy. I mean, it's a pretty spot on trade. Again, right here, same thing, where we could turn on the K2SR and you have another confluence, right? You have like 7 confluences right here. So if you were to line this up and you saw this trade, like this is like almost a guaranteed hit. Like if you were to see this here, like you see the bullish momentum, you're like, okay, you're like, how would this work, right? Like, would this actually play out? And then if you're not confident about it, you just look back and you're like, okay, we have a low here, green candle, it's rejecting off structure. It's like a double bottom. Basically using all the K2 indicators for your confluences. Trend is bullish on the pivots. So we have double bottom, that's 1 confluence. We have a low here with the green candle, it's 2 confluences. Trend meter down here is green, that's 4 confluences. Pivot green is over red, that's 5 confluences. Momentum signal here, 6 confluences. If you were to take this trade, let it run, full TP. So, I mean, there's another tool to your arsenal, guys. This is why I create these indicators. Like I created all these K2 indicators for a reason. It was just hard for me to really explain to you guys like how these applied without someone like kind of referring to it, because when I created these indicators, I didn't think about using them as specific tools. Like I don't have strategies where I'm like, okay, confirm this, that, and the other. It kind of just flows with the analysis over here. Peter is asking, do the numbers repaint on the high-low? They don't, but you can have your settings here where they can come up quicker. So like I have them set, this is the default settings, but you can change them to like where they come up quicker. Like for this here, they only come up like every 10 candles or so. But if you, if you want to lower it to like 5 or even like maybe even 1, there'll be too many. Look how there's so many. I mean, this might be beneficial for you if you really want them. Like, but they're going to come up on like every single candle. So you can change the settings here. The default setting is 5. They don't repeat once they've been established, because once you have the 5 candles passed, they're or how many candles you set them to, then they just stay on there because they don't come up until after it passes. Yeah, because there's like too many here. Yeah, 10 looks like probably the best one because it doesn't come up as often. Or maybe we can try 5. Yeah, 5 comes up too often too. I would just use the default settings. I know they don't come up as often, but they do help. So since they don't come up like right away, you might not be able to use them as like as your entry point, but you can just use them as a confluence. So if you have an entry that comes up a little later, then you'll just use that as your confluence. Like if you see it come up and you're like, okay, this is probably going to keep pushing. Or if you're entering a trade late, I'm trying to see if there's one over here. Because, oh, so this is, there's no example here, but I was going to show you like, so you see how this entry came up here? If you missed this entry and then say price retraced and then you got another buy signal, then you could have used this confluence right here as, okay, price is going to continue, but that didn't happen, right? If it did happen, you know, it might be more useful like on the 1 minute using that analysis. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay, so like right here. So you know how you have this already built in right here? I forget who I was talking to, but basically I'll just talk to all you guys. You can see that the confluence is right here, right? So as price comes up, it comes back for the retracement, and then you have another one right here. This is going to indicate, you know, a second entry that you can take because odds are it's going to keep pushing up. You already have the confluence right here that price, this is the low. So if we have the low, it's going to keep pushing up higher and higher. And you can see right here that basically all the retail traders who are selling, they're getting stopped out right now. That's why I do the opposite. Everyone here is selling. You can see 61% of retail traders are they're just selling because they're scared that we're going into a recession. And with all these people selling, we do the opposite and buy, and then trades work in our favor. So, you know, it's a handful of confluences there. A lot of the main ones are going to be retail sentiment. You can use this for your chart analysis. You know, all the tools that I create, they're basically to help you guys understand price action a bit better. I know price action is really difficult for people to really understand, but these indicators here are what help you. They're like training wheels. They show you exactly what to look for. Because if you took off all the indicators here, I mean, you'd be completely lost, right? That's the reason why I created these indicators, because they're helpful when knowing where to look. Because if you guys didn't have this here, you're like, okay, where's the actual low, right? But if you have these all added on, you're like, okay, now you know where everything's at. And that's why this is useful. So yeah, did you end up taking that trade, Maddie? Oh yeah, so Maddie took this one right here. Basically the break and close past the high low. If you guys are familiar with the K2SR strategy, it works well like on everything pretty much. It doesn't have to be on the 4-hour. You can apply it on whatever time frame you guys wish. Nice, Matt. MJ took it as well. Maddie took the buy signal. So Maddie actually bought right here. And then he held on to it because it closed above. So it closed above right here. He was like, okay, it's going to keep pushing. So we held on to it for a longer push. Nice. Solid, Maddie. I mean, I'm glad we got on that call yesterday on that Zoom, because now you have this tool and it's helping you really confirm these trades. Solid. If you guys have more profits to post up, you know, feel free to post them up. Let's see over here. Kevin has posted some profit as well. He's up 24,000 for the day. Nice work, Kevin. All buys right here in the direction of buys. Smart move. Yep, exactly. Kevin said no sells, all buys, all wins, no losses. Definitely, Kevin. Great work there. Scotty over here as well. He took the buy over here. His price pushed up, locked in a total profit of 2,980. Mauricio over here said only good day this week. Been rough. He locked me a total profit of 12,000 for the day. Nice work, Mauricio. Off this account. And then his other account, he's in a loss, but it's all right. He has a loss right here, but his other account over here, he's in a win. So he pretty much offset it nicely. So great work right there, Mauricio. Kevin over here, damn, Kevin kept taking more trades. Currently up 42,000 now. Solid, Kevin. Going over here, Ross. Yeah, so Kevin actually, he like entered a whole bunch right after. He just kept dipping into it. So that's nice. And that's another thing that you guys could have used here, right? So like the same thing that I was drawing earlier, I'll draw the K2SR again. So if you guys are looking for these rejection points, these or actually the rejection point was off the sessions. So again, right here, you have this confluence. There's a low with the pivots, the pivot points right there. This is also a V3. So you could have taken this for a V3 push up. There's another entry here for a momentum push up, another entry right here for K2SR push up, another high low entry. There's like 4 entries there that you guys could have taken if you really wanted to enter at any point here. There was one right here for a V3. That would have been a full TP. There was another here with the K2 momentum, full TP, another K2 intraday, full TP, K2SR zone entry right there, full TP, that would have been for 100 pips. So within this little period right here, I'll write down all the strategies. And if you guys want to go back and test it yourself and just do your own back test of like how all of these entries would have applied at the same time, you guys are more than welcome. So like, let me just make a list over here of all the strategies. So if you guys want to go back and look at it, and this will show you that like you can really apply any K2 strategy. You can apply literally any strategy and you can do well. This is why I always tell you guys to focus on one strategy and just master it, because if you can apply at least one of them, you'd have a win here. So down here, there's a K2 US30 V3 variation. Right here, this is a K2 intraday scalp or just intraday entry. 3 K2 pivot scalp entry, 4 K2 SR zone strategy, and 5 K2 high-low scalp. I'll just put entry. So literally right here, it doesn't matter which one you're applying. You could have applied any entry at this point. Here, there's a V3 right here. There's also a V1. So there's actually 6 entries that you guys could have looked at and taken right there. K2 US30 V1 variation. So just going down the list right here, there's a V3, there's a low with a red candle, followed by a green candle. You could have taken that for a V3. Intraday entry right here. You can see that this green momentum signal is valid. It matches the trend meter. You could have taken that for a buy. K2 pivot scalp entry. You can see we have a green momentum signal here. It's valid. It's above the K2 pivots. K2SR zone strategy. You can see that there's a zone right here. Price broken close above it right there. And you could have taken that for a push to the upside. K2 high-low scalp, you have the high right here. You can see this candle over here breaks and closes past that high before any testing. That said, you could have taken another buy right there. And then lastly, a K2 variation V1. This right here is a double body. So there were 6 different entries you could have taken off this point here. Question from Bobby. Bobby's asking V1 also at the low of 715. 715. I think it was this one, right? Yeah, it's the same that we're looking at. Time might be off on yours, Bobby, or you might be on a different time frame. But yeah, same thing right there. V1. So yeah, no, definitely, Bobby. Same entry. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of entries here you guys could have taken. I mean, this is why I tell you guys to just focus on like one strategy. If you can focus on any of these right here, you just take every entry that comes up for that specific strategy. Or if you're applying any of these strategies here, they all apply depending on like where your entry would have been. So, all right, with that said, let me see if there's anything else here. But for me, guys, I'm not taking any of these scalps right now. I'm just showing you guys that there's a lot of entries. I'm still trying to run basically this experiment with you guys, showing you that if you take one trade a day with the breakout, you can do perfectly fine with passing your challenge and staying funded. If you guys want to add trades on top of that, then yeah, you can add whatever scalps you want to add to it, but you don't need to, right? This is just extra. So one thing that you can do is you can make money off the breakout and then just take a smaller lot size with these pivot scalps if you really, really want to trade, so that you don't lose you don't go into the negative. Like you might lose some of your profit that you made off the breakout, but you won't overdo it. So if you really want to play in the market, feel free, scalp with a smaller lot size, but I would focus on just taking the breakout and then possibly the daily for the 1 minute and the 3 minute if we do end up taking it, because those are going to be the real money makers for you guys. These scalps will maybe give you like 1% or like less than 1% per trade because of the negative risk to reward, but the breakouts and the dailies will give you you know, a full 2% or 1.5% depending on what type of risk that you're planning on taking. So yeah, Patrick said retail sentiment works so well. The way I see it, if retail sentiment is 33% long and 64% short, do you want to be one of the traders trying to sell something to one buyer, or do you want to be the one buyer with two sellers standing there with their hands out fighting to buy your shirt? LOL. Yeah, and I agree too, Patrick. That's why sentiment is always the number one thing I look for. Typically, we didn't take any trades if this didn't go like 60%, 60 to 65% or more. But because the summer market is kind of slow, we were kind of forced to trade or find different ways to trade without the sentiment. But when the sentiment's present, it's like almost guaranteed. Like you can take a buy here. It doesn't matter where you take the buy. Like if your stop loss is wide enough, you'll win the trade. And that's why we use a wide stop loss, right? A lot of people criticize us for using a wide stop loss, but this is cushion, because if you take a trade anywhere and you're just waiting for it, it's going to come back up eventually. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, that's the power of sentiment, guys. I don't think anyone here has actually ever seen anyone use sentiment like I do. I mean, I personally haven't seen anybody either. I've seen a lot of other traders that are trying to copy what I'm doing. But you know, I've been doing this for like years now, so it's like I don't have to think about it. We already know what the sweet spots are. So there is a V1 pending right here. Maria, I mean, there's a V1 that's currently running. Let's analyze it to see if it's a good V1 or not. Okay, so let me just draw this right here. So I'm going to try to analyze this and see how safe this V1 would be necessarily. All right, so we have a low over here with the green candle. That's two confluences. Trend meter is green, bias is bullish. Yeah, this looks like a good buy here for, I mean, it's probably too late to enter, but you guys can see how many confluences aligned with it right there. Yeah, Maddie took with the half lot, full TP off the V1 right there. So let's go down the list over here and I'll identify confluences, or we'll put K2 confluences because these are normal confluences. K2 confluences present with this V1 entry. So for one, we have, let's just go down the list right here. For one, we have a K2 US30 V1 variation entry. That's one. You can count the entry as a confluence as well. You just have to increase your requirements. Two, we have a wick projection of K2SR zone. Three, K2 trend meter is bullish, direction of trade. Four, K2 pivots are bullish in direction of trade. Four, K2 high low, K2 low with green candle indicating reversal. I don't know if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, and then six, pending momentum. So this is how you would identify if the trade was a good trade or not, Maria. You could have done this prior to like the actual entry, but you know, you got to think really fast. So like for me, it took me like maybe a minute or less than a minute for me to look all this stuff up. There's a variation entry right here, or let's just go back to that. It's right there. Okay. So this was the entry right here, right? You have like a few seconds for you to take this trade. That's why it's important that you guys are familiar with all these confluences so that you can just check off the list right away. So there's a V1 entry, that's one. Wick rejection off K2SR zone. If you want to leave the zones on, you can. You don't have to, but you can see that it was already present when the entry came up. It was already there, right? It's not like it came up later. So you have the K2SR zone on. You have a K2 rejection. It's bullish. Bias is bullish. Looking over at retail sentiment, we already know it's bullish because it was already at 62% earlier. Pivots are bullish. This is why I color these colors, because it makes it a lot easier to look at. So I just have two pivots, 3 and 4, and then I color them green and red so that when green's above, it's bullish. When red's above, it's bearish. Fifth, K2 low with a green candle. It's another reversal pattern right there. And then pinning momentum. So with that said, there were 6 confluences. Typically, you want maybe like 5, sometimes 4 if it's a riskier trade. But if you have like 5, that's pretty solid. You have 6, that's like, home run right there. You were taking this trade, full TP. So hopefully that helps. I'm pretty sure this is going to be for the next mentoring session. This is like the live session, so it's not, we're not able to really cover stuff in detail, but for the next mentoring session, I'll try to make a list of all the confluences, because there's a lot of things that you can basically just have a checklist, and then you can check stuff off and then just count it off to see if like it adds on to it. But yeah, for the next mentoring session, say next Monday, we'll go over this stuff in detail so that you guys can have a list to really look at. But I mean, the list goes on. There's a lot of stuff to look at. You can see a wick rejection off structure, wick rejection off the sessions, wick rejection off news. There's a bunch of different confluences that you can use using the K2 indicators that will be at your advantage. So if you guys took that, great. I didn't take it myself. As I mentioned, I'm only taking the breakouts and the daily entries if they look good, just to show you guys that you guys can pass the challenges and stay funded with just 1 or 2 trades a day. That's all you really need. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. So Maddie's gonna log off. All right, Maddie, I'll see you tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday actually. Let me scroll up a little bit and see if there's anything else that I'm missing. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just keep analyzing. I don't think there's much to really look at here. So I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's getting close to 8, so we'll be wrapping this up soon unless you guys have any questions. If you guys do have questions, I'm available to answer whatever you guys need help with. But if not, I think this probably be a good time to probably call it a week. We had a pretty good week so far. So like looking at the breakouts, we had 2 wins, or we had 3 wins and 1 loss this week. We had a win on Monday. Here, I'll just put it down right here so that you guys can see. K2 US30 breakout stats for July, week 4. So Monday, win. Tuesday, win. Wednesday, no trade. Thursday, loss. Friday, win. So if you're doing a 2% risk per trade, you can do plus 2%. Over here, plus 2%. 0. Negative 2%. and plus 2% for today. So as you guys can see, if you add up the totals here, if you just apply the strategy by itself, you let them run to full TP or full stop loss, it would have been a plus 4% gain. All right, so if you just took the breakout this week and you let them run a full TP, this is what it would look like. I was just showing you guys like, the breakdown of like, if you just apply the strategy, it has a high win rate. So, I mean, if you were to do the math here, there was 4 trades, so 3 divided by 4, 75% win rate for just this week. And we'll keep doing this every week. I just want to show you guys the transparency of like how this strategy works. And, you don't have to take crazy trades, take like one trade, let it run, and then letting it go. Yeah, John said, I'm thinking of the opening breakout works best without trailing stop. And I agree with you too, John, 100%. The only reason I'm using a trailing stop right now is because the market was kind of choppy. Well, it's been choppy for the past couple of weeks and we haven't really tested it. But I think this is like, this will show you that if you just let the trade run, it doesn't matter if you hit stop loss. If you hit a stop loss, it's fine. Just accept the loss and move on to the next day. Because if we did that and we just let all of these run here, like even today's trade, it was risky, but if we just let it run, it would have hit, full TP. So you'd be in a positive gain for the week and for the day. So maybe next week I'll just start letting it run. It's just because the market is kind of like choppy. So it kind of messes with your head a little bit. Even myself, I've been trading for 11 years. Market still messes with my head. It's not like, like it goes away. You just get better at ignoring it. So yeah, no, if you guys want to apply it and just let the trade run, I think there's a couple people in the group who are just letting them run. They're doing their own tests. They're using like a trial account or a demo account, and they're just letting the trade run to full TP or full stop loss. For me, it's a little more difficult because I'm trading like multiple accounts. So if I have a loss, it hits all the accounts. So it kind of screws my head a little bit. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna let it run because man, if I let the trade run today, I would have had. So here's my profits for today on my account. I locked in, so let's see, I locked in 985 plus 985 plus 940 plus 940 plus another 940. That's a total profit of 4,790. So even though I only took a partial profit today, it still added up to a lot, right? But if I let this run to full TP like Maddie did, like, bro, Maddie killed it. Like he let it run 5,090, right? Imagine if I had those 5 accounts, 5,090 times 5, it would have been like 25K a day for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to let it run because it's either I'm gonna make 25K a day or I'm gonna lose 25K a day. But since it's not my account, it's the funded company, it's still fine because I'm only risking like 2%. So I'm just gonna have to trust it. But I'm excited because now that we have this, we have like one trade to take. And if we do this all year, I mean, that's crazy. If you just think about the possibilities of like how much you can make, it's pretty crazy. It's the same with like the daily. So when I first introduced the daily to you guys, we were doing the same thing and it was super profitable until the market started to die down a little bit, like during the summer. That's why we had to start doing the variations and scalps. But as we enter the fall season, market's going to pick up and then we can start trading that same way. So yeah, Rashida said, in order for me to let it run, I have to walk away, LOL. Yeah, it was easier for me before because I would just walk my dogs. But like now that I'm on this live with you guys, I'm like on here and I'm watching the charts. Before when we took the daily, I would take the trade and then I would just go walk the dogs and I'd come back like, 30 minutes later and it hit TP. So well, I'll have to figure out a way to ignore the charts when we do take that trade. So let's see, Maddie's profits over here. Maddie locked me total profit 5,580. So nice work right there, Maddie. His second account over here, 6,670, solid. And then his other account over here, 7,065. And crazy. Nice work, Maddie. Some more profits over here from Scotty. Scotty locked in a total profit of 3,470. And if you guys are new here, or if you guys want access to the K2 indicators, because you guys can see other people here taking more trades, like Ross over here, he's taking multiple trades. If you want to apply like these other strategies, like the variations and stuff, just go on the website, k2trades.com. Go to K2 strategies and you'll get access to the indicators. I know some of you guys here are just on the live, but you guys do want access to the indicators. If you guys want that, you guys are more than welcome. It's typically not open to open signups, but if you guys are here, you guys can go on the website and sign up. I don't typically advertise this because I don't want to train any new traders right now. If you guys join, I'll train you, I'll help you guys out, but I'm not looking to teach people, what we're doing, because, a lot of us make majority of our profits from actual trading. And I don't want everybody in the whole world to be using K2, right? I'll let you guys use it, and whoever's in here, we can all use it, because it's not going to make a difference if a couple, 100 of us are using the same strategy. But if thousands of people are using the same strategies as us, it's going to stop working. So I'm not openly advertising K2 anymore, but if you guys want to sign up, you guys are more than welcome. If you guys are already part of the group and you guys just want to get access to the indicators, you guys are welcome. But I'm not going to grab, random people to join K2 anymore. I'm more focused on just us profiting and just keeping this community tight, close knit. Because if I can help 100 of you guys get multiple FTMO accounts, and then you guys are locking in 5, 10, 20K a day trading with us, just taking one trade, that's great. I'd rather help whoever's here already rather than everyone else out there who's not in K2 yet. So we'll keep it as is. But if you guys want access to the indicators, you guys are welcome. So more profits over here as well from Patrick. Patrick said he just took the breakout today, and that's about it. He took the breakout, locking a total profit of 1,450. Nice work, Patrick. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to limit the people who join K2 because I don't want too many people using this. Whoever happens to stumble across, great, but definitely not looking for this. So Charles over here as well, currently at 5,640. Nice work, Charles. Valentine over here. Said DAX kept stopping him out. Trailing US30 was good. Valentine over here locked in a total of 5,385. Nice work, Valentine. John over here as well. John said, I need to work on my trade psychology. I closed out of the buy in a loss without letting it go to stop loss. That was an unnecessary loss. Reinsert and stopped out on profit. Nice work, John. But yeah, no, the market's been kind of choppy, so I don't blame you, even myself, right? I was kind of worried about the trade. If I just let it run, it would have hit full TP. But nice recovery right here. John got scared and he pulled out of the trade early. He took a loss of 1,455, and then his trade over here, he kind of cut it too short because the stop loss and profit was too close. So I think it'd be best to just let the trade run, John. We just got to trust the strategy. I know we're all trying to be a bit careful, but we know it works. So we're just going to keep letting it continue on. So let me check the chat real quick. Rashida said V1 just hit TP, didn't take it though. Yeah, there was one right there. V1. We can check the confluences here too if there's any SRs up there. So it actually lined up right here, Rashida. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it actually did line up right there. So looking at the confluences again right here, we have, let's take a look at what we got. We have basically a double top. So there's a double top right there. On top of that, we have a high with a red candle. That's 2 confluences. Pending momentum, that's 3 confluences. V1 entry, that's 4 confluences. I think that might be about it. So about 4 confluences right there, and then that V1 right there would have hit full TP. I know we're looking for buys here because the bias is bullish, but there's still enough confluences here to take the quick scalp. So nice identification of that entry right there, Rashida. Oh, Charles, so Charles actually took it. He said had to lock in one last scalp and I'm out. So I think Charles did lock that one in. Yeah, he did actually. So that was the trade that Charles took right there. He took that V1 full TP, and then he called it. And now he's calling it a day. Nice work, Charles. I didn't realize that was a trade that she took. But yeah, let's see if there's anything else here. One more question from Alexander. Alexander's asking, Sean, do you think it's reversing, or are we still good to look for variations? So what I would wait for, Alexander, is I would wait for the next continuation if you're looking for reversal, right? And what I mean by that is I'm looking for this basically pivot points to come up right here. And we want this to basically drop, retrace, and continuation. When you have the continuation, then odds are price is probably going to continue dropping. It worked the same way in the opposite direction. So like, for example, right here, we waited for the low with the green candle with the pivot points number right there, right? As I mentioned, you didn't have to enter, right? If you missed this point right here, this is where the first initial leg happened. Retracement and continuation. So if you take the continuation right here off the next buy signal, then you could have confirmed that it was reversing from this direction because price was dropping, and we confirmed the reversal right here. Same thing with this right here. Price is coming up. If it comes down, retraces and comes back down, you're basically confirming the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So it is going to be a bit iffy. Like I wouldn't take any variations to the upside unless you have the confluences. Just make sure that you line up multiple confluences. Look for the bias, look for the trend, look for reversal patterns, look for rejections. Basically, like as many confluences you have, the more confluences, the better. Let me see if there's another SR down here. Okay, so there's actually another one down here, it looks like. The same one from earlier. So if you want to cash a trade in that direction, you would probably just wait for it to come down and bounce off here. It hasn't bounced off it yet. So what I would be looking, you can see price is just in a range. That's actually where price is going. It's just going sideways now. It's easier to see now that we have it drawn up. But yeah, basically you want to wait for it to come down here, test this, which is the K2SR. If you have a low with the green candle, even better, because it's going to have the setup. And then you're also going to look for the pivot points. So depending on which direction you're looking to trade, this could, I mean, it can really go one way or the other. It's ranging. So you're just going to look for as many confluences as possible before you make this entry here, or even before you think about making the entry. I personally would sit out the market, Alexander. We talked about this. Once it gets past 8, it might be best to just sit it out. It's Friday as well. Today's not the day to really take anything too crazy. It's Friday. It's the end of the month. The start of the month next week. I don't know if there's any other news today. But just in general, it's just not a good day to be taking unnecessary risk. Like for me, once I get off this live in a few minutes, that's going to be it for me. I'm calling it a week. So, and no problem, Alexander. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can answer whatever questions you guys have. I'm pretty satisfied with my profits for today. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad for Friday. I was kind of worried that yesterday was going to be kind of off, but I mean, I was kind of worried that today was going to be a bit off because it was off last Friday, but it was actually not too bad, even with the news. Yeah, Kevin said, great job, everyone. K2 killing the markets as usual. Thanks, Sean. Definitely, Kevin. So I'll probably see you on Monday if you're already logged off. But I think that's about it, guys. Unless there's any other questions here, I think we're going to call it a day. It's already 8 o'clock. This is the cutoff for my trading. I went over this with Maddie yesterday. If you guys ever look at the data, like if you want to see why I stopped trading at 8, just go to 8 o'clock every day and then mark it up from 8 to 9. This is like a dead period. This is why I stopped trading on this time. And if I do come back, I'll probably come back around later, like at 10 or something. I have my pivot point settings at default. I'm going to do 10 and 10. So I didn't really touch it. I just left it at 10 and 10. Johnson pending. All right, so I'm not going to take this trade here, but this would be an entry for the 3-minute daily. It's too late in the session, so I don't really want to take it, but I'll follow it for you guys. All right, let me analyze this and see if any confluences line up here. There's no K2SRs up there. High here is the green candle. Actually, the confluences aren't going to line up with this strategy because we're doing the opposite. It's a counter trend trade. So I'll follow this right here, guys, but I'm not taking it. So just keep that in mind. I'm not taking this trade. I'll follow it. It's probably gonna hit, but or this candle here is kind of big. So typically when the candle is big like this is a risky trade because price can come up to the halfway mark and retrace, or it can come up to the full candle. If it comes up to the full candle, it's going to stop you out before it hits your TP, right? I typically don't like taking it when it comes up like this. I want it to be within the candle. So this candle here is just too big. Well, what you can do here is you can wait for it to pull back and then wait for late entry, because it's probably going to pull back like halfway around this vicinity. And then as it comes down, you'll have like a sell stop to just catch it as it continues dropping lower. So you can see right here is a pullback that I just mentioned. Candle is just too big. It's retracing up. Like you can see that another example right here. See how this candle here was huge? It pushed up and then it retraced basically to the full candle before it ended up continuing back up. You don't want to get caught in moves like that. It's just, and then the same thing again right here on this falling candle. So this happened right here. Again, this candle right here, same thing, right? Huge candle, retraces to the halfway mark, and then it pushes up even higher. It's just the same pattern that repeats itself. So let's see. I'm not in this position. I'm not really planning on taking either, but I'll follow and see if it comes back down further. So we do have a high right there. It's tempting to take it, but I gotta I'm just gonna follow. I'm not gonna take it. Yeah, I'm too late for it anyways. But it looks like it could be good. So John actually took it at retracement, so that's cool. Think about taking it too. Let's see where it's at. I'm gonna keep watching it. FOMO meter is going up right now. So let's see. Yeah, definitely, Madhu. We'll see you on Monday. Madhu said thanks, Sean. Have a great weekend, everyone. Definitely, Madhu. So let's see. The reason why I was kind of tempted to take this is because we have the high over here. And then the pivot points came up right there. So it looks like it could be dropping from this point here. A minute. Daily full TP. So yeah, I actually took it, guys. Sorry. I know I was telling you guys I was going to take it. I moved my stop loss in profit. I'm in profit 2,290. I'm just going to let it run the TP. It's the only way to trust the strategy if I let it run. So yeah, definitely Ross. Ross said, thank you, Sean. Laters. Peter said closest sessions. That's one thing I didn't identify either, the sessions. We have to identify these red flags here, but it's whatever. I'm already in the position. I have my stop loss in profit. If it runs to TP, great. I'm gonna make 3,000 off this trade. If it pulls back, stop losses in profit. Doesn't matter. I make profit either way. So I'm gonna let it run. And then, I mean, it's right next to this sessions too. So it is a risky area, possibility of bounce, but whatever, I have a stop loss in profit. So see, it's the only way to trust it. Let me go on the 1 minute. Yeah, there's a lot of areas here of bounce, but see where it goes. Looks like it's trying to come back down to the opening price right here, but it's all good. No stress here because I'm already stop losses. I mean, profit is already guaranteed either way. I guess we can stay on this live for a little bit, see where it's at. I'll stay on this live until my trade ends, and then we'll just call it a day from there. see if this hits. Oh yeah. So boom. Oh man, the horn was laggy. All right, cool. So I followed into that trade. I always tell you guys not to FOMO, but it just looked like such a great trade. When I saw this number here come up for the pivot points, I was like, all right, this is it's gonna continue pushing. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys like pretty much all morning. It's like when you have this confluence here and then it's followed by a momentum signal, it's gonna push at least enough to hit your TP. So I locked in 3,090 off that. Nice. C6 said, yeah, that horn's sounding tired. I know it was a laggy horn. So let me give you guys a little update over here for that trade. John, I'm not sure if you took it, but hit full TP and lined up perfectly. So, all right, guys, let me just give you guys a little update here. I'll send in my profits for that. This is I'm just gonna have to update this real quick. So this is gonna be 3-minute daily and strategy. Let me take a screenshot of my profits and then we'll call it a day, guys. E's asking, what does that little number mean? The little number means it's just the pivot points high low. It's a built-in indicator for TradingView. So if you go to their built-in indicators, just type in pivot points high low, it'll come up on there. Yeah, all right, cool. So my profits are looking a lot better now than they did this morning. Pretty solid. It's cool. I needed that to close out this week strong. So let's see. I mean, 3,090 off that. My second FTMO, same thing, 3,090. My MFFs, there was some slippage, but it's all good. It was just across 2 accounts. There's one MFF, and then my second MFF. My first and second MFF were fine. The third one was a little off. All right, cool. So let me just give you guys this. I'll post them up over here as well. So there is my FTMO, MFF, and we're good. All right, so here are my profits from that trade right there, guys. I let it run full TP, as I mentioned, move my stop loss and profit as it dropped. I took off the trailing stop. I just moved my stop loss and profit now. So I locked in 3,090. Same off my other FTMO right here. My MFF, 4,000 off this one, or 360. My second MFF, 3,050, total profit of 3,990. And then my last one over here as well, 4,000. So, all right, solid. Nice. John actually took the full move too. So great work right there, John. And thanks for introducing that to us, because if you didn't introduce that to us, we wouldn't have taken this trade today. So thanks for that 303,000 profit. So full TP. Locked in a full TP on that 3-minute trend. Yeah, guys, so we are closing this week out on a great note. Hopefully a lot of you guys here locked in profits. If you guys have more profits to share, feel free to post them up. When New York session closes, I will post up everyone's profits. But I mean, overall, it's been a great week for everybody, whether you were just taking the breakout or whether you were taking these daily entries as well. This is going to be like what our schedule is going to look like for the most part. It's basically going to be breakout and then daily on the 1 minute and daily on the 1 minute and 3 minute if possible, or if it does come up. So great work, guys. Scrolling up over here, a couple more profits before we log off. Oh, nice. Kevin took it too. So Kevin actually took it as well. Great work right there, Kevin. And Ellie here as well. He took the buy, or he took a different trade. Locked in a total profit of 1,104. So great work right there, Nelly. Ross over here took the sell with me off that 3 minute daily, locked in a total profit of 12,000 for the day. Nice work, Ross. Basically all wins here, just one loss there. Looks like your stop loss and profit might have been a little too close, but you did very well here with your entry. Looks like you kind of scaled down as well with your entries as you triple dipped into the trade. So nice work right there, Ross. Did I copy that one over? Not yet. So great profit right there. Nice. Kevin said he took it several times. So nice dips back into that. Played out perfect. So as you guys can see, this confluence here is pretty strong when you have the number there and then it's followed by momentum. It's usually identifying the high. The momentum here is like, all right, price is going to push down X amount of pips. So it's beneficial for you guys to identify that confluence. A couple more profits right here. Nice work, Tiana. So Tiana over here as well, locked in a total of 10,000 for the week. Great work. All right, guys, solid. John over here as well. So John said that 3 minute daily counter trend helped end the day well. So John was in some negative, or he wasn't in negative, but he was in a light profit. He took that daily there and then he hit his full TP, locked in a nice profit of 1,215 for the day, 1,495 off that specific trade. So great work, John. Glad to see that you recovered and you made your way back into profit. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think that's about it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, this is about it. We'll wrap up this week and we're going to close out this week strong. So other than that, guys, have a great weekend. I will see you guys back here on Monday. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here, same place, same time.